is Johnny.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho!
When you're down here with me, you float down.
Like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What up, film fans? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to this special Hallows Eve edition of Friday the 14th podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan, and I'm joined by the cast, the crew, the fans.
Bronco.
Nick, how it be? Good?
I am the 4K bad guy. That's what you want to know. Definitely silent. Honestly, I think I'm having some audio technical difficulties on my end. So I'm gonna kick myself out and come back in.
Yeah, you do that, okay? You kick yourself out.
See you in a sec.
We'll try to let you back in. Nick having some technical difficulties, but what up? It's a new week. It's a new movie. It's a whole nother new friendly conversation. If you guys did not join us last week, we talked the horrific, one of the most terrible movies I've ever seen, Magic. Go back. We had a fun episode. We had a fun conversation about a bad movie. So go back and give it a listen. We reviewed Magic last week. This week, you can check out our social media. Any of the social medias has the links to past episodes. You can watch all of the episodes here on Imiswa Productions YouTube channel, or you can listen wherever you listen to podcasts at. Just type in the Cinema Movie Podcast. Friday the 14th pops right up. Instagram / Friday the 14th Podcast. Or any of the social medias is also at Imiswa Productions on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook channel. So, Franco, how's the week been?
It's been good. It's been a week. Didn't do saw some deathmatch wrestling this past Sunday. It's pretty cool.
Was it as brutal as you thought it was going to be?
It was more brutal. It was
More brutal. Nice.
I felt that from like, how many feet was that? Whatever that distance was, I felt it
You're about
physically
I
and
feel like
mentally.
30 feet is too little. But you're 30 or 50.
What'd you feel in the death match?
I almost got glass in my face. So that was
Glass
cool.
in the face? Did you get some blood sprayed on you? A little 40x action?
Luckily, I didn't know.
So, fun week. Nick, what about you? Other than some death wrestling?
Some death wrestling. It's
Some
probably
death match
the best part. Always love those moments me and Franco have in long distance.
distance.
Usual quick week as usual. I did check out Venom: The Last Dance. It was a watch. I don't know why I'll give any spoilers. I didn't. It's not. Didn't add much of anything really. It's like a side story. Without giving you anything away.
Oh no.
Did you go see it or?
Side story is not the best story.
I mean, there's people that
I
probably
did
enjoyed
not
the
go
movie.
see it, sir.
I saw it in
This has been,
IMAX,
like,
so
the most. How sold out was the IMAX? Was it empty?
empty. I mean, there was some seats available. Like you could have just flown in or drive and sat next to me, type of thing.
Okay.
No, it was a nice little experience going on there. But yeah, I wasn't bored with it. I mean, but then again, I really didn't have that high expectations, to be honest. Other than the Venom wrestling, H2O.
H2O.
I'm trying to fit in the spaces here. I can't remember anything other than that.
Franco, other than Death Wrestling, what else did you get to check out this week? Anything good?
Watch SmackDown. Motor City Machine Guns became the tag team champions in like a week from their debut. That
You're
was
getting
cool.
that AJ Styles treatment.
Not even because I don't think Styles didn't win his title for like 7 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
He
They're
got that
getting that.
stupid feud with Chris Jericho that was boring.
They're getting that push.
Y2AJ.
Y2AJ. That should lasted for a week and that was it. I think I watched Raw. Miz got kidnapped by the Wyatts. And that's all I really remember.
It's insane.
That
The
was
Miz
it.
got the Miz got kidnapped by the Wyatts.
Yep.
It was kind of a short week for me. Like I said, this has been the most up and down roller coaster week in quite some time. Since the last time I talked to you guys, I did check out rewatch of Halloween 1, 2, and 3. H2O, the first episode, or the first Omen. Drew is dead.
Miz is definitely dead.
More than the Miz is dead. Yeah. I think that whole Wyatt push is dead. What do you guys think?
Hell no. I think it's all right.
Checked out the first Omen for an episode of the Cinema Movie Podcast. Go back and check that out. Other than that, yeah, it's been kind of a slow week. Like I said, this week has just been. It started on Sunday with the highest of the highs, and here we are on Thursday, and it is just low, low, low.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. See, I don't even know what day it is.
With the midweek.
It's All Hallows Eve, and to me, it feels like Thursday.
October.
He's gonna go watch All Hallows Eve.
October is just flew by. But speaking of October, let's dig into what we're talking about. Today is the final episode of the month. We're talking Halloween H2O on the day before Halloween. So let's dig into it. If you guys have not checked it out, go check it out. It's on AMC Plus, Paramount Plus. Currently on IMDb, it has a 5.8 out of 10, 56 on Rotten Tomatoes, a 52 Metascore, and then a 2.8 on Letterboxd. With a budget of $17 million, it grossed a little over $75 million at the box office with an August 5th, 1998 release date. Starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Josh Hartnett, Adam Atkin, Michelle Williams, Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, Janet Leigh, LL Cool J, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, directed by Steve Miner. Laurie Strode, now the dean of a private school with an assumed name, must battle the shape one last time as the life of her own son hangs in the balance. Today we're talking Halloween H2O. The H2O was 20 years later from the first and the original movie. So like I said, it's a pretty old movie now, but we're going to spoil it. We're going to talk about it. We're 9 minutes into the episode. So go back and watch it or just listen to us and maybe our pretty voices of this conversation will make you want to go watch it. Nick, we'll start with you. Do you remember the first time that you seen this movie and what was it like revisiting it for the podcast?
Watching it. This was another 90s Halloween movie. I think that mentioned something similar to The Curse. I didn't find out about The Curse until like years later, my teens. So H2O was along the lines with that. I can't really remember too much from the first initial watch. Definitely different feel. More, this is like post Scream. So it's definitely different feel. Still better watch the movie what comes after, but
There's no movie that comes after this. The first time I watched it, I got it from my cousin who who recorded it off of a tape and put it on tape for me, and like every other minute or so, it would be black and white, and it'd be half white, half color. Um, because I think the movie was still in theaters, and this was a VHS tape that the rental movie company had, and so it wasn't like supposed to be dished out to anybody. I think I might have messed up that story. Yeah, it kind of looked like that, but watched it. This was actually the first Halloween movie I'd ever seen. I watched this one, and then I found out about the rest of them. Watched the original Halloween, Halloween 2, so on and so forth. Um, so I vaguely remember this movie the first time, loved it. Watching it all these years later, and now just thinking about the podcast mine, I still enjoy it. There's one or two things that I would probably change and that I dislike about the movie, but other than that, it's nostalgia for me, and I like it. Franco, what about you? First time?
Yeah. This was the first time watch. After the movie, I just thought enjoyed.
this was the original
You kind of bugged out a little bit. I don't know
reboot
if it was
or
the Wi-Fi or what.
with the connection.
Oh, I just said enjoyed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that you brought that up, Nick. You could say this is technically the first time they maybe did a requel or a reboot.
Very cool.
Yeah. So this one is kind of like you only need to watch Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and then you could lead into this one. Um, you get a very young Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the first 5 minutes of this movie. If you guys are Halloween fans, you notice the nurse. Um, so I think this opening of H2O is fantastic, even so many years later, especially after the Blumhouse release of those Halloween movies. I still think this opening holds the test of time. Let's have that as the first topic of conversation. What do you guys think of the opening scene? And you get 3 kills in literally the first 5 minutes. So, what do you guys think?
It was a good intro.
Good intro, 3 deaths, 3 unique deaths, and also you kind of got like some very cool music at the beginning. You got a different version of the Halloween theme. You get Mr. Sandman playing right away, and it just the beginning feels like an October-based movie, and I always thought that was pretty cool. And it's just really creepy. Um, somebody going through the nurse's desk, finding information out, whatever they can about Lori. And like I said, you don't have to worry about Halloween 3, 4, 5, and 6 because technically they are there, but they don't really need to be mattered to watch and enjoy H2O. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really dug the opening scene. Definitely, this was the better way out for the nurse, the doctor, versus what you saw on Halloween Kills. Oh boy! So was it? This is for Dr. Loomis, and then doesn't avenge Loomis. Trying to put his respect on him, there's like more disrespect on his name. Of course, knowing now Joseph Gordon-Levitt, it's always fun to see him. Just like you can go back saying Paul Rudd, Curse, seeing the known actors in these movies. I like it was like they kind of tease it where like, oh, he's safe because he checks the whole area for the doctor or whatever. And then it shows that other scene where it was the roller skate to his face.
Oh yeah, the rollerblade just directly thrown into his face. What do you guys think about this movie? That's the big nuance of this movie is you got some pretty cool actual deaths on screen, but then Steve Miner being Steve Miner, the director, you get some very suspenseful deaths too. to where you can think about the death, but you don't necessarily see it. This is where you kind of get that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character Jimmy, with the rollerblade to the face, and then his friend is stabbed in the back. So 3 deaths, 1 on screen, 2 you can kind of just guess about.
Also,
You
did you
guys a fan
notice
of
that?
the suspenseful deaths?
I was gonna say. Also, did you notice about they use the Halloween 6 mask in the beginning? It's very little minor detail
They
you
did.
can notice if you really pay attention, but I remember that timeline. But unfortunately, retcon
Yeah,
it.
very. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the mask because, like you said, you see that one, you see a K and B mask that is just god awful, and then the CGI floating Myers mask, and then you see the mask that they ended up using and doing the reshoots with. So you have 3 different masks, 4 really in this movie. Again, that's probably going to be one of my few nitpicks that I just did not like about the movie, but it wasn't bad enough to where it's going to be like, oh, the hell with this movie, you know? What about you guys? Franco, but you being a first-time watch, did you notice the changings of the mask, were you like, what the hell, why they do this?
I did not know.
Different mask of the whole movie. Oh man, like they started strong with the curse mask, and then I mean, I still think that it's alright. The mask, the overall mask they use, I like it better than Resurrections, of course. But on topic of masks, even though CJ is probably the shittiest mask to ever do, but would you take that CGI mask over the pink face Return of Michael Myers mask? It's like blonde, that one scene.
Oh, that one? Yeah. The CGI mask was a little goofy in that one scene. I didn't like the white, almost the plain white one with the blonde hair. Um, if I had to pick, I would say, yeah, no need for CGI. But the explanation for the CGI mask was really good. So, if you guys own the Scream Factory edition, the reasoning for the CGI mask, I guess, is because they were going to go in and do reshoots, but they had already torn down the background for the scene with that mask, so they had to do a CGI, it still looked pretty bad. See, that's the mask over there on the steelbook. That's the whole reason I did not get the steelbook, is because of that one messed up.
So the CGI mask, it was funny enough because I was kind of crazy and whatever. I was watching the 4K version, of course, and I was watching the VHS at the same time, kind of looking at the comparisons of how far they come, whatnot. You can barely notice the CGI on the VHS, but I mean the VHS, the fuzziness kind of blurs it in, so it's like it's passable. But in the 4K, like damn it, you cannot unsee the CGI. Just terrible.
Yeah, no. It was pretty bad. The concept, though, after the 3 murders, you get Jamie Lee Curtis is back. This is the first time you see her in a Halloween or in a Halloween film since the 80s, and man, she has a 19-year-old son. Introduction, Josh Hartnett. Man, first off, this is just such a 90s cast, which is fun. You get Josh Hartnett's first movie, Michelle Williams' first big movie, and then you bring Jamie Lee Curtis back for a Halloween film, not to mention LL Cool J. What'd you guys think of Jamie Lee Curtis and the setting of the tone to where she's going to, first off, she's going to start having nightmares, but then you see when she opens up her medicine cabinet, or when Josh, the son, opens up the medicine cabinet, she's just a whole jacked up mess. So, what do you guys think of that storyline of Jamie Lee Curtis just being a jacked up mess? Like the
It's kind
passion,
of hard to talk
or not
about
the passion,
the.
but the background and the story of Michael Myers pushed her so bad that she's completely off. Like,
There's been
Um,
a.
I invited Drew to jump on, so here's Drew.
Hi.
what up?
How dare you just come here? Bang. It's invaded.
There you go. So yeah, why are you talking mess, Franco? Halloween H2O was amazing.
I
H2O.
enjoyed it. I didn't say there was nothing terrible about it.
Oh, I'm just
Yeah,
speculating.
Just the mask. I think that's the only negatives main right now.
What are y'all on right now talking about? Like, which
Topic
part?
is how do we think about Laurie's recovering trauma?
yeah. Laurie's just like a complete jacked up mess from the events that happened on Halloween 2.
Oh,
So, what do you guys think of her being not only a jacked up mess, but her leaking and bleeding all that stuff over onto her son?
I thought it was funny how she just woke up yelling, screaming. But no, like, I don't think she should do that as a parent, obviously. But she doesn't believe that Michael Myers is out of the loop. Sorry, I'm just filming my new phone here, flexing. Okay. And it's kind of crazy how the son has to basically take care of her, like going through all the medication, pills and this and that. I actually just watched the movie earlier. It's funny how you're talking about H2O. I recorded all of them on AMC, so I have all of them on my DVR. Just whenever I'm bored, just pop it up. That's it, man.
Perfect time of the year.
Nick,
What?
your
Was there a
opinion?
question directed towards me? Or are you just staring
I'm just
deeply into
going off
my
what Juan said. He asked us a
the
question.
one and only?
The one and only.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been multiple variations of the whole trauma thing. I think probably this version was probably the best. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Laurie, was all batshit crazy all over the place. I kind of liked H40 or 2018, but of course the progression of that didn't really go anywhere. Like into the ends, and
Yeah.
she
No.
recovered from it. I don't know. I don't.
Even with some of that trash Blumhouse put out, it's like Halloween H2O to me is still like the perfect way you end the Michael Myers just saga. That character is just completely the perfect way to end it. And Laurie coming back and going not undercover technically, but in hiding, faking her own death, giving up her child for adoption, and raising Josh in California, miles and miles away from Haddonfield, is just like, man, let's take that story. You also get Jamie Lee Curtis to share on-screen scene with her actual mom, Janet Leigh from Psycho, standing right next to the Psycho car. What'd you guys think of that scene? Little nice minute and a half iconic scene.
Everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Two
Damn.
generations of screen queens.
That's a cool
Really
moment.
entitled to a good scare, man. It's a really cool moment. And yeah. So Janet Leigh sharing the screen with her daughter was cool. What'd you guys think of the boyfriend, Will, who is also like a dean, not really the dean of the school, but he's like he's the counselor of the school, and Laurie is like the head dean. So they probably shouldn't be dating in the workplace, but it kind of works out because he's not only is he dating her, but it seems like he's also trying to counsel her because he knows how much trauma she's going through. So I don't think we've really talked about him at all on this podcast, but what do you guys think of Mr. Arnett, who plays the boyfriend?
I don't really think
I
much
didn't
of
care too
him.
much for him.
Out of
Didn't pay much.
watching,
Yeah. No, in the end,
out of watching the movie several like hundreds of times. I've never really like thought about that. Like, what do I think about this dude that didn't do anything but like, you know what I mean? Like, I just like, I feel like they just wrote him in so they can give Laurie a boyfriend in the movie. So say.
He pissed me off at the ending, or towards the ending.
Because he shot LL Cool J,
Yeah,
or he forced her to shoot. Not a very good shot. Growing up, I was always like, man, he really looks like a Dollar General George Clooney. like if you order George Clooney off like Temu or whatever, that's what you would get. But
Tim?
He does.
I mean, just another body count, but
he had a cool death though. I did like his death.
full death.
Yeah.
I think he's along one of those characters that he didn't really deserve to die, because I mean he wasn't one of your typical douchebag characters on screen. I liked. I mean, he didn't really overreact whenever Laurie was telling him, like, this is actually who I am. I've been kind of living a life, going by a different name, and everything.
And well, I think it was Drew. I like what you said, how he was just brought in as a boyfriend, which is cool. And I like that aspect of him. But Lori also needed somebody to explain her story to for the first time. And I think it was pretty cool that he was the one, a therapist, who she kind of like explained her whole situation to. And it's like, oh, now you understand why you drink, why you take all these pills, why you're hallucinating 24/7. Like, probably something you should have told homeboy, like, when you guys start dating.
Mm-hmm.
He probably would have left, like, he's all, fuck that.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I mean, she probably told her son Josh Hartnett over there, but Josh Hartnett's like, oh, he wasn't having it. So he decided to have that cool, bizarre haircut of his. When that scene came up when they're him and Laurie are talking by the barbershop, it cracks me up because there's a meme that I've seen online. They're like, the barbershop's literally right there, because everyone just makes fun of his hairstyle.
That's so horrible. You're talking about the son, right?
The son, Josh, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's 30 in the movie.
What'd you guys think of the 4 students that stayed behind? John, Molly, Charlie, and Sarah. They're some of the ones that stayed behind. They didn't go to the field trip, and those are now supposedly they're going to be victims 1, 2, 3, and 4. But 2 die, 2 stay alive.
I mean, it kind of makes sense for like kids at that time where they just really they know like what they're gonna do on the field trip, like, and that mindset, like, why go? They rather just stay back and do their own thing without anybody knowing. So yeah, it was a cool like little add on to the story to make it so pretty much Michael could get potentially more kills. So,
Same thing with like the first half of the movie. You get 4 kills. You see 2. You see 2 of the deaths. The other 2, or you see 1 death. The other one you don't see. So, Drew, I asked the other 2, do you like the deaths that you actually get to see all the blood and stuff, or do you like the suspenseful deaths that you kind of just let your imagination do the guessing?
it depends. I kind of like both. I prefer in this movie. I prefer to see the kid with the hockey thing to his face, to see it more, because there was more meaning to him. There was more dialogue to him. You know what I'm saying? So like, if there was somebody I can care less about, okay, like, yeah, I can see an off-screen death, but there's an off-screen death where they're involved more, a little bit more. I'll be like, what the fuck? Like, I wanted to see that.
That's good sense right there. Like,
Yeah.
if they have more meaning and if they have a little bit more dialogue, you care more about them. You kind of want to see how they get chopped up.
Mm-hmm. Because like it adds on to like his character. He was showing how he was carrying himself. Like, he walked into the door. He's like, I'm suspended 5 times this year and all this shit with his hockey stick. I'm like, this guy's about to get fucked up. And like, they didn't show it, but he did. But like, that's your imagination, obviously, how it happened. Like, did he try to fight him off? Did he try to act tough, etc.? So
I can't imagine him just going for a little hit. And Michael just grabbing.
Michael just oh, this guy fucking. Sorry, I'm watching the Yankees game, but yeah.
And you kind of get those two deaths as well with the teenagers who stay back. Charlie, he gets his throat sliced, and he's got the scene where he's messing with the corkscrew opener with the garbage chute. So that can kind of go one of two ways. And he just turns around and sees the floating CGI Michael. And then you kind of get the, how does he die? But you eventually see his throat slashed when Michael sends the body down to the chute. And then to me, one of the best deaths of the movie is Sarah, when she gets her leg trapped in the dishwasher chute,
yeah.
and then Michael just a few chops up and down. What do you guys think of Sarah's death?
I liked it.
I like how it went down and just the aftermath of her just hanging.
Even though it was just subtle, it felt a little classic. It felt old school.
Yeah, because there was a sense that she might survive. There was a little bit of like, oh, she might get out of this. You never know. But then when Michael's like critical thinking was like, oh shit, I can just cut this and she's dead. I don't need to like walk up there and go out of my way and physically put my hands on her. I can just drop this bitch right now. So yeah.
But unfortunately for her, he goes up there and he does check, and he goes ahead and finishes her off. But not only that, you got the scene where he hangs the body from the light fixture.
Oh yeah.
Pretty dark, cruel scene in this movie. I thought it was pretty cool.
Goes back to his humor that's shown in the first movie.
Do you ever think about that? Like how bored he gets to do all that? Like he's just waiting for the other victims to come in. It's like, damn, it's taking forever, so I'm just gonna decorate before they even come.
I do that. I like sweating when I take out the trash, let alone trying to hang a body up on a light fixture.
That's right.
Hitting the weights 24/7.
He's got to have some very upper arm strength in order to do that.
I mean, he's left a lot of people's up, holding him up for that. Even the.
That's probably why
he did in this movie too.
He also doesn't kill a lot of fat people because he can't hang them up there. So if this was a horror movie, I think that'd be okay.
I mean, that's smart. He's like, I'm just gonna kill him, lay on there. I'm not gonna do anything else.
Before we get on to our other topics of conversation, a Friday the 14th original segment. Who was hot, guys?
Who's hot?
Yeah, who was hot? in the movie. In the movie. So, I'm gonna go with Janet Leigh, the mother of Lee Curtis.
You like him weathered?
Who was standing next to that psycho car?
That's pretty hot.
Yeah.
I think Josh Hartnett's a little too young in this movie, so we have to give white pass him. I would go with the friend. What was her name? Sarah? What was it? Yeah.
The one that got her leg smashed.
Smashed. Definitely got smashed.
LL Cool J.
That was my second pick.
Because he was reading a lot of romantic books.
Steamy.
So, and he wanted towards, are we talking about the end? No, he wanted to potentially write a book about romantic thriller. So he's hot in that sense. Romantic.
He was talking about some melons.
Yep, that's right.
She was like, "What kind of melon you talking about? Cantaloupe, watermelon, honeydew?" Franco, you got a pick?
Michael.
Michael,
a man with multiple masks.
He's so handsome with me and looks to kill.
That one arm pull up is so dear, like.
It's the haircut for me.
The haircut.
What? This Matt's haircut?
It's all fuzzy.
That was a pretty legit scene. What do you guys think? Where he's hanging down from the balcony, the little bar,
Yeah, I take some serious
and he
strain.
just gets Jamie Lee right in her arm, just like in the first movie. Yeah,
I was like seeing that
he
little
one-handed it.
part, one-handed.
So we talked about the two teens' deaths. Did you guys think, Franco? You're kind of the one who you lost your H2O cherry over the day. Did you think Michelle Williams was going to die at all?
Yeah,
You did?
yeah.
I forgot to say Michelle Williams. I think I'll change mine. I got to go back.
That's not how it works. You only get one shot.
One
Uh,
shot.
But Loomis had six times.
Six.
I thought like
Yeah.
everyone was gonna die except for of course Lori and the son.
Oh, see, that
Josh
would be
Hartnett was
pretty.
close.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett was close, man, but he, I think he could have took Michael one-on-one.
No, he's not Corey Cunningham.
No. I found out Josh Hartnett was recording H2O and the faculty simultaneously, doing it back to back, putting in work as a young actor.
Wait, Cool J didn't fight Michael, right?
No.
What a shame. What a
It
shame.
wasn't Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
We don't even need to talk about that movie.
Wait. Let's backtrack, all right? Busta Rhymes karate kicking Michael Myers was the greatest thing in cinema history. All right.
If for some reason,
motherfucker.
yeah.
I mean, it gets variable over the years, but the part where people get pissed off is that one scene where he just talks some. He's all, "You impersonated me."
Oh, okay.
I don't want to talk so much about spoiling. But
You're good. And we'll talk the beginning of Resurrection here in just a little bit when we talk about this ending. Speaking of going towards the ending, what do you guys think of just Jamie Lee Laurie Strode? You know, she tells the kids to get back in the car to head off after Will's death. Michael stabs Will and gives him the old shakaroo. But the music hits and Jamie Lee has the axe and she just walks back in and she's like, Michael. And then the music hits and you're like, okay, it's a showdown. Finally, after 2 films, we get the one-on-one showdown. What do you guys think of their little fight?
I thought it was a great scene because, like you just said, we finally get to see them go at it instead of. I mean, yes, you're going to be like scared shitless of however tall Michael is, how big he is. You're going to be scared shitless. But whenever you have an axe in one hand and so much trauma and fear built up, you're going to be like, fuck this. I should see what's up with Michael one-on-one. So it was cool.
Going back all the way to the first movie where her teacher is explaining the Frankenstein story to her. And then in this movie, she's explaining Frankenstein to her students. And then Molly answering the question, backtracking. I know when Molly sees Michael outside, Molly tells her right there, you know, Victor had to go confront his monster. Frankenstein had to go confront him anyway. So the whole piece of this movie ending is like, man, what she's teaching, she's going through, she's living. She has to now go and face her monster. She didn't create the monster, but she damn sure poured the fuel on the fire. But Steve Miner also directed Friday the 13th, Part 2 and 3. So there's a lot of tributes to some of his older horror films. Scream is definitely contributed into this movie. They pay tribute to some Scream movies, you know, and then of course the callbacks to Halloween 2 and 3 or 1 and 2. So you guys like that about horror movies? I know this is kind of like the night before Halloween. We're talking a Halloween flick, but it is spooky season. So, you know, name some of the movies that are just like, man, you know, this franchise might be one of the reasons why I got into horror movies. What's some of the off-topic conversation, real quick? What's some of the movies that just got you guys just like into horror movies?
Honestly, I always thought it was good. We were watching a little bit of it, Franco, when you were here. Freddy versus Jason. Remember that one? I I thought it was fun to watch. I want to say it was great, but it was fun to watch. Um, Jason in general, and then Jeepers Creepers. I got into that a lot. Halloween was the first horror film, to my knowledge, I've ever seen, or slasher. Scream as well. Um, I've seen The Blob, and that wasn't scary at all. It was just funny. But at that time, in the '60s or whatever, '40s, whenever it was made, it was scary. Um, but that's about it.
Those are all some greats. Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Child's Play. Those are some that did it for me. Franco, what about you?
Scream, Insidious, Saw got me into them.
Nice. Nick, finish us off.
I'm gonna finish you off right now. Scary Movie 1 and 2. No. Of course, Halloween. Was the franchise the first thing. A lot of Stephen King stuff. Like Pet Sematary was a good one. Um, Shining was one of my favorite ones. It some cool stuff there. Or like the remake of TCM and Dawn of the Dead. That's like a whole different thing there. Zombie genre, pretty awesome. Ranges all over the place, but if I had to give you the first line of movies, those were some.
Is Dawn of the Dead considered a horror film?
Yeah,
The '04 version?
yeah. I would say it'd be like horror action. Some could even call it horror comedy.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead was awesome. It was a great film.
So Lori confronts her monster. Uh, he falls over onto the table. She's about to just annihilate him, stab him, take his head off or whatever. But she steals the body. Long story short, he ends up outside the van. Van rolls over. He's crushed, and you kind of have like almost a heartwarming moment, and like in a pretty dark way. Somebody who put her through so much trauma. She had to fake her own death. She had to get rid of her firstborn, which was Jamie from back in the other movies. So somebody who completely just put her through the ringer, her brother putting his hand out for help, and she's like wanting to reach out and touch him, and then she just boom, she cuts his head off. Perfect way for the franchise to end. Did anybody think that there was going to be a nice peaceful moment and she was going to try to like just touch his hand?
No.
You thought that?
I don't know why, but I think I remember like thinking like I feel like the cops gonna show up and like surround him, and then possibly like obviously take him in and do the whole thing again where he gets taken away and all kinds of that. That's what I was thinking. I thought that was gonna happen when they're about to like touch hands, whatever. A swarm of police because they were going after Lori because she had stole the ambulance at gunpoint. So like I would assume they'll be after her. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were just gonna take him away again.
Yeah. Complete.
Yeah, originally, originally seeing the ending. I think I've never seen it like on TV, maybe even that. I was like, this was the actual ending. They killed off Michael Myers, and how did he come back to life in the other films that came after?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, going
So,
to the next chapter.
I didn't know this, but like when they were making the movie, since so many people had owned rights to the Halloween franchise, there was always going to be just one true ending, but the powers that be knew what the ending was going to be. Like, I think it was Mustafa Akkad or Akkad Mustafa, whatever his name is. I'm sorry, I'm butchering it, but he owned like a majority of the Halloween storyline. So like he was like, "Oh, dude, you can cut his head off, but this is going to be the reason why he comes back in the next movie." So like, even though on paper the ending was perfect for H2O, the people who write the checks were like, "Yeah, nah." Michael changed out his body for a security guard or for a cop, and she's technically cutting the head off of a security guard who Michael put the mask on. That's how the next movie starts, which is completely crap, by the way. Halloween Resurrection. I'd rather watch a toe fall off of a diabetic person.
Although I say,
He wrote and directed 4, 5, and 6, right? Then Mustafa.
He didn't write them. He just technically
Produced.
owns.
Or
Yeah,
owns, yeah.
he's a producer, but he owns like just a majority of the vote of the Halloween characters. Like I believe he bought the rights off of John Carpenter. I think that's how that goes.
Something like that. And of course, whenever Mustafa had died, his son took over and gave the rights pretty much to Rob Zombie to do some films. Like going back to the ending of the the movie.
Poor Rob Zombie.
Oh boy. Like I like the ending. I guess people enjoyed it. I think I would have had like a different scenario really, because towards the last minutes of it, it was really Michael didn't put up. There was no fight put up. He was kind of strapped into that body bag and then get into the crash. There was no fight there, so they would.
That CGI was terrible when he
It was,
went into that tree.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't like seeing Michael kind of held down,
Helpless.
not really like with a fighting chance. I mean, you kind of see it in ends too.
Yeah.
I will say H2O is a better ending than ends for sure, but just the whole idea of Michael not getting, his chances to actually fight back.
Yeah, no, it was just complete. Resurrection was trash, and even going back and looking at this ending, I would say this ending is up there with, I don't know, maybe some of the other ways to end a franchise, even though they all always come back.
I always come back.
Evil Destiny.
Evil Destiny.
Yeah, better ending than any of those. At least in my opinion. Before we get into some favorite scenes, do you guys have a favorite kill of the movie? I will go with Sarah's death.
Favorite kill. Probably when Michael died.
Sarah's death was good. The quote unquote Michael headshot.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a kill, but I did enjoy there's that scene where they're getting to that little gated area and they barely get inside and you see Laurie and Michael stare at each other through that the window.
Oh yeah, that was a dope scene.
Of course you get on this steelbook right here.
Yeah, that was a good scene. That's technically like the first time I guess that they are face to face in that movie. So
I mean, what about that scene where like Michael's in the distance as well when he barely arrives to the place? Oh, and she like keeps closing her eyes like, oh, she thinks she's just losing it again, but he's getting closer and closer. That was a cool.
Wouldn't it be funny if it
moment.
was actually him?
But then the boyfriend pops up like, oh, you keep scaring you. Oh shit.
Mine was an on-screen kill by like the blade in the face at the beginning.
it's a good scene. Good kill. What about favorite scene? Do you guys have another scene that you'd want to talk about? Or match that's favorite. That's not a death.
Michael flipping tables.
Oh shit,
Flipping
he was
tables was
mad.
good. Yeah, flipping tables was a good one. I'm gonna say the one where he's hanging down from the bar and then he gets her right in the arm. That's probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What was Franco's favorite scene? The one where they showed screaming the TV.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I just realized that today. When I was
They're
watching
face
it,
to face.
I just realized that. I paused and I was like, that fucking scream in the background.
Well, it's because what did they do it? Scream chose Halloween and it's kind of returned to favorite type of thing.
Yeah.
Acknowledge you.
No, my favorite scene was the one you mentioned with the stare down.
Oh,
That was my
okay.
favorite.
See, dude, Ghostface and
First
Michael
time
Myers
we
should do a collab. Should do a collab.
Which Ghostface though?
Which Ghostface? I don't know. I don't know.
Too many.
No idea.
Stu.
Stu.
I don't know. Everybody always picks Stu to be the favorite Ghostface, but you know who I kind of thought was always just
Billy?
cool was Mickey. Like out of everybody, Stu and them, like yeah, sure they were the movie fans, right? They took the notes, they watched the movies, but like Mickey lived it. Mickey had the videotape. He was in the class. He was in the play. So like he was just, and he was out there. His idea of just being more than Billy and Stu is just phenomenal to me. But that's a whole nother franchise, right?
I prefer the Amber.
Amber?
Yeah.
Amber Alert?
Oof.
She was crazy.
Oof.
Rating 1 out of 5. 1 being absolute shit. Halloween Resurrection. 5 being the OG. Nick, we'll start with you. What was your rating for H2O?
Before getting to rating, I was also going to throw in Doofy. Doofy is my ghost face. But H2O.
Zero.
I'm gonna lick it with a 4.
I'll agree with you. Score, cast, ending, and it was quick, in and out. An hour and 26 minutes without credits. It's like an hour and 18 minutes. I'm gonna give it a 4. Franco?
I give it a 3. Kept my attention for the most part, and one of my more favorites of the 90s.
Right. Drew, special guest. Go ahead and finish us off.
4.2.
4.2. Good.
Oh shit.
It's a 4, but I just didn't want to be like 4. Yeah, 4. I agree. I should be like 4.2.
4.2. That sounds like a GPA. That's a pretty good grade. Yeah, Halloween H2O. It's the night before Halloween. You guys go check it out. It's on Paramount Plus. Let us know what you all thought. It's in the social media, Instagram, Friday the 14th podcast, or you can search at Eamswalk Productions. If you want to email the podcast, you can email at cinemen921@gmail.com. That's cinnamon921@gmail.com. That's the email bag, and we can always check that once y'all start sending in some requests, some recommendations. Send us in your star rating of H2O, and we'll get to it. Next week, don't forget, Thursday. Beautiful still buds.
Which one?
Next Thursday is Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey 2. Next Thursday, November the 7th, 8 p.m. Speaking of still books, those are some nice still books. So that was Franco's pick. Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey 2.
Can't wait.
If you give that a 5-star
other than that,
rating, I
guys,
swear
before
to
we get
God.
on to next week, before we get out of here, guys, what are you doing this weekend? Any wrestling? Any tacos? What's going on?
I'm retired.
I'm free this week. Got nothing going on.
Nothing going on. So that means you guys are watching Crown Jewel then, right?
Is that this weekend?
This weekend,
Is that like at noon?
Saturday morning, yeah.
Fuck.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't know. You don't want to see Samoan? Samoan bloodline.
Oh wait, they announced the Bloodline versus the Bloodline, right?
Yeah, it's Bloodline versus Bloodline.
Oh, interesting. I don't even know what's going on.
And then you have Gunther versus Cody for the Elimination Chamber looking championship.
The Greatest Royal Rumble Championship.
Yeah.
I don't know why Strowman hasn't defended his.
So
Yes, and Royal Rumbles.
His Christmas looking like title he has.
yeah. Other than that, I think that's going to do it. Crown Jewel this weekend. A lot of football this weekend. The World Series is probably still going to be kicking off this weekend. So check us out. New episode of Sports Breakers on Monday. We had a bye week this week. And then don't forget Clerks 2 for me next Tuesday night. Clerks 3 next Tuesday night for me. And then next week, guys, Blood and Honey Part 2 on a whole new episode of Friday the 14th podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Special guest, Drew, thank you. 4K, Franco, next week.
Peace, love, tacos.
Y'all better keep your hand out of the cookie and honey jar. That's all I got to say.
See Ultra.